On this episode of Science with Shields, we are making plastic from milk. Hey everyone, it is meteorologist Christy Shields, and on this episode of Science with Shields, we are making some biodegradable plastic. So what you need for this experiment, you're going to need a strainer, a microwavable bowl. You'll also need some milk and vinegar. And if you would like to make your plastic that we're making into shapes, you can also use a cookie cutter. So I have a star here to make the plastic and mold it into a shape. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to measure out 1 cup of milk and we're going to microwave it for 90 seconds. So let's measure out that 1 cup of milk. And I'm going to stick it in, again, a safe microwavable bowl. And look, I've already spilled some milk, but we don't cry over spilt milk, correct? And we're gonna stick this in the microwave again for 90 seconds. Stick that in. And start that up. So what's happening in this experiment is that we're going to see a reaction with the milk and the vinegar. And what's happening is the molecules aren't going to move together. They're just going to kind of rearrange, leading to this plastic, and it's called casein plastic that we're making today. And again, it's safe, and what's fun is once we have it molded, you can let it sit for 48 hours to dry, and then you actually can make different things out of it and draw on it. All right, so the milk is now done. We've, again, microwaved it for 90 seconds. And we've got our very warm milk here. And the next thing we're going to do is add 4 tablespoons of vinegar. I tried to take the lid off, but it's already off. So we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of vinegar to our milk. So let's measure this out. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the next thing you wanna do is you wanna mix this together for 60 seconds. So about a minute, we're going to mix this together. And like I was saying before with this reaction, the molecules are not going to mix together, but they move around, creating this substance that ends up being like plastic. So let's do this for 60 seconds. Okay, we have stirred the milk and vinegar for exactly 1 minute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pour it into our strainer into a new container. So we're gonna pour this in. And we also wanna make sure all that milk gets out of the strainer. And we'll continue to pour. And then you kind of want to press that milk out of the strainer and make sure it's going through. It may be a little bit hot, so you may want a parent or guardian to do this part. And then you want to, again, press that milk out of your plastic. And what's left is some moldable substance. Again, this is our casein plastic. So we're gonna stick it on a paper towel here. And like I said, you can mold it into different shapes. We can just pat it into a circle here. So now again, if you have that cookie cutter, it doesn't look like it will fit in my cookie cutter, but what we can do here is we can mold it in, so we can stick it in the cookie cutter here and mold our plastic with the cookie cutter to make it fit into our mold. And it'll be really neat. We can have a plastic star by the end of this experiment. And like I said, you can use any cookie cutter shape you would like with this plastic. So once again, what's happening here is that we have this plastic. Oh, there we go. We got a star. And you'll let it sit for 48 hours and let this dry. But what happened here again is whenever you mix the milk and the vinegar, we have those molecules that move around, leading to change the substance from that liquid form into a little bit of a solid, and it makes this casein plastic. How cool is that? So once you let your plastic sit for 48 hours, you can then check it out and draw on it or color on it, and you've got a plastic star. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Science with Shields. Head over to WTAJ Plus for more episodes.